Tutte le religioni sono un cammino per arrivare a Dio.
Because every religion is a way to arrive at God.
Sono, dirò una comparazione, sono come diverse lingue, diversi idiomi per arrivare lì.
Sort of a comparison, an example would be they're sort of like different languages in order to arrive at God.
Ma Dio è Dio per tutti.
But God is God for all.
E come Dio è Dio per tutti, noi siamo tutti figli di Dio.
And if God is God for all, then we're all sons and daughters of God.
Ma il mio Dio è più importante del tuo.
But my God is more important than your God.
È vero quello?
Is that true?
C'è un solo Dio lì. E noi sono idiomi, cammino, lingue per arrivare a Dio.
There's only one God, and each of us is a language, so to speak, in order to arrive at God.
Qualcuno è Sikh, qualcuno musulmano, qualcuno
Sikh, Muslim,
Hindi, qualcuno cristiano,
Indo,
ma sono
Christian.
diversi cammini.
There are different paths.
Understood?
Yeah, well, my view is that of Vatican II, and Vatican II was not a great novelty there. It reflects, moves within the great tradition, namely that in all the great religious traditions and religious philosophies and so on, you can find elements of truth. You can find truth to some degree. You can find rays of light, and that seems obvious to me. I mean, there's no religious tradition. There are a lot of, let's say, silly, fringe sort of, religious expressions, but think of the mainstream religious expressions in the human race. If there was nothing true in them, there was nothing good or beautiful or valuable, they would never have survived. They would never have fed people for so long. So the church, I think, very gratefully acknowledges these facts. But the fullness of truth, the fullness of it, in that sense, the one true religion, it doesn't mean all the other ones are simply false. It means they participate in the truth to a lesser degree. Now, let me give an analogy for this, maybe. So, do you remember that scene in the beginning of Good Will Hunting, the famous film where the professor at MIT puts this complex formula or equation or something, problem on the board, and he challenges the students, can anyone solve this? And the students all try in different ways, and the star of the movie solves it. But my point is this: is there one correct answer to that problem? Well, yeah, there is. There's one perfectly correct, adequate answer. But might a professor at MIT, or to bring it down to grade school math if you want, might a professor say, yeah, the answer you gave, that's not correct, but it's close. It's getting there. You did a lot of it correctly, And then another one, yeah, that's good and that's good, but no, you see how you're falling short of the full answer. And then maybe there's some that, no, that's just ridiculous. No, you're not even in the ballpark. You're not even close to solving it. Or maybe some never even tried. My point is, you can say there's the one correct answer. Yeah, that's right. But you don't have to, therefore, simply denigrate every other answer. You can say, no, to varying degrees, they approach the fullness of the correct answer. Now, let me just stay with that analogy because it helps me a little bit. So there I'm looking at, major problem and finding the solution. That's putting the stress all on us, that we're going to strive to figure this out, and some get it and some don't, right? But let's suppose the guy that writes the equation for you and watches as you try to solve it, at some point gives you the answer and says, no, this is actually the answer. And I realize that none of you is really going to get this completely right. And I now want to reveal the answer to you. And I'm the one who posed the problem. So I know the solution to it, and I want to give it to you. Now we're getting into the realm of faith as opposed to mere reason. If the puzzle is, let's say, human life, the meaning of it all, or whatever you want to say, that's the puzzle, that's the conundrum. And we're all striving to figure it out. And some are getting closer than others, right? But then in the fullness of time, the one who gave us the conundrum also deigned to give us the answer to it, revealed to us the answer. Well, then I would say, yeah, that's it. That's the right answer, you know? And that would be, that's the one true answer, was given to me by the one who originally posed the conundrum. Now we're getting in the ballpark of what we mean by a revealed religion accepted in faith, you know? Now, once that answer is given, can I strive to understand it more fully using my reason? Of course. That's called theology, right? Now, fides quaerens intellectum, faith seeking understanding. So once the answer was given, maybe it's like, I'm not really bright enough to really see why that's the answer. But now, having studied it more, now I get it. Now I see why, yes, that is the answer. See what I'm doing here, Brandon? In a way, I'm trying to just get at this thing from different angles, because it's, in a way, a notoriously complex problem. There isn't like a neat single argument that sums it up, but there's different ways of approaching this problem.